as a child. I was so
Sure.
restless. Like my dad and I would make songs. It was our thing.
Hmm.
Like
सुनाओ ना.
पापा used to work a lot. वो तो मैं सुना ही नहीं सकती. अजीब से होते थे यार.
हाँ.
लाइक अजीब अजीब गाने, मेरे घोड़े जैसी गर्दन, लाइक अजीब जानवरों को लेके गाने, या कवालियां बनाती थी. टू प्ले अ कैरेक्टर कॉल्ड कवाली साहब. आई टू डू
हाँ.
रैंडम शिट.
It's my pleasure to speak on this week's episode with Malika Dua, comic, content creator, and actor. Malika's had an interesting start to her journey as a content creator when her first video got viral, and how post that she navigated herself in a completely new world and a new city once she decided to take on content creation as a full-time job, leaving her comfortable advertising job behind. In this episode, we speak about why she champions sisterhood, her views on online dating, how she handles creative blocks, and what keeps her going in spite of so much of online hate and so many ups and downs. Welcome to my podcast, Malika ji. Questions I wanted to ask. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Anshuji. It's a pleasure to answer all your questions.
So, to all the guests to all the viewers who are listening and audience who's listening, I have to say this, that when I first thought of the idea of a podcast, or actually even before it was the podcast, and the idea of asking women questions around their life and, their journeys, etc., is something that has been on my mind for a very long time. And Malika was like one of the first people that I discussed that idea with. And I think the any if it had any first traces of imposter syndrome, वो वहीं पर मार दिए गए थे, गिरा दिए गए थे. So thank you, I mean, for being a big part of this podcast, actually, and of course now coming on to do the episode with me.
So, welcome to the creator side of things. I'm so glad you've crossed over. And here on, I shall be your agent.
Thank you so much. I think that's a contentious discussion, because उसके लिए मुझे आपके साथ में 1 घंटा बैठना पड़ेगा. Also for our audience, I think the way we address each other as Malika ji and Anshu ji, it's a little odd, right? Do you
That's
want
true.
to?
They may not get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about why do we address each other like that?
So basically, for those who don't know yet, Anshu used to be my agent. And that's how we kind of got to know each other. And just her way of handling things, and there's some people just invite a lot of respect, okay, just by virtue of who they are. And the first time I heard Anshu like talking money, and like just she had everyone wrapped around her finger, huh? Lots of departments, and she's taking multiple calls, closing deals, and I was like, Anshu ji. Like from that day, she became Anshu ji, and then I became Malika ji, and I don't know why. It's just remained like that.
And it's funny that a lot of people now call me Anshu ji, and I suddenly feel so old. I am not that old.
I like Malika ji. मुझे तो कहीं से भी ज़्यादा इज्जत मिल जाए. Take it.
Sure. Point to be noted. But tell me something. I mean, considering now we're talking about, we were talking about how we met. I think one of the first most important questions that, I've always had, we've discussed this in parts, is that phase when you moved from Delhi to Bombay, right? You were in a very very cozy life in Delhi with your parents. आप बहुत extremely comfortable हो parents के साथ में, I think, because you're the younger child and all of that. I think generally also between you and your elder sister, you are the one who's like the more pampered lot.
Yeah, I mean, not pampered. We were both raised equally. I think I just tend to throw my weight around more. Like I'm just. I don't
So
have the
then-
elder sibling syndrome, Like I think I've just always been the younger sibling.
Yeah, your elder sibling is like quite the opposite, and the nicer and the sweeter and the calmer one, for sure.
वो तो guy है guy.
She's lovely. But tell me, it took a lot of lot of willpower, lot of courage for you to shift to a city which you had never lived in before, right? To leave a job wherein you were earning a certain amount of X amount of money every month, and to say that I am going to venture out and be with people I don't know, go and live in a city I've never lived before, and try and be part of an industry which is at least scary from the outside, right? uh, what did it take from you? Like what went on in your head at that point of time?
So thankfully, I had lived in a strange country before alone, so I had that exposure.
You're calling
I
America strange?
strange as in pariah, you know,
Pariah, sure.
strange also in its own way, but I meant like an unknown country. I never traveled to America before, in particular, and now there's still like a lot of awareness and fetishizing about Indian culture there. There wasn't, back then, and the college I went to was super white. So, and the major that I had selected was theater, where there was, I think, one Indian kid, and that too across like all batches.
You were the
So I
one
think
Indian kid.
no, one apart from me.
One upper.
So, I'd had a lot of exposure in being alone, managing alone, dealing with very cutthroat kind of no nonsense people. Dealing with a very efficient system as compared to what we may have seen, and academically it was very very hard. So, as far as facing challenges in that sense, like challenges that are actually opportunities, let's just say, they're not hardships, they're opportunities that are challenging. So, I dealt with that, and I knew that if you take these head on, you only get better. There's discomfort, but you come out better. It made all the difference in my life. So, I knew that I became that person who doesn't say no to like opportunities in life. And even when I came back after getting a degree in theatre, I was very practical in the sense I was like, I'm not moving to Bombay to just try my luck and wasting
Sure.
my time. Because तब ऐसा नहीं था, कुछ digital ऐसा कुछ था ही नहीं. It was literally
This was in
like
2006 and 7.
no, 2012 I graduated
2012,
college. So,
okay.
so I was like, I'm not moving to Bombay. There's nothing there. Like, and I'm not working or doing anything just to pursue theatre in Delhi. And eventually, I was like, and I do firmly believe that chahe aap freelance karo ya kuch bhi ho, you have to have done a job before. It's very, very important. Not just for experience, exposure, for empathy, for just understanding how things work, for understanding a certain mindset. A regular income mindset versus a freelance mindset, they're very different, the two things. So when I moved back and I, joined an advertising agency as an intern and then as a trainee and then an employee, I was very happy. I was getting to do creative work and I was getting to, be in a structured job and everything. Though I always wanted to act. Like I was doing plays even then. I would work till 6, 7 and then I would go rehearse after that. I would audition for ads and things. So even like everyone knew, and somewhere in my head I was like, एक दिन तो मैं actor बनूंगी, एक दिन तो मैं performer बन के रहूंगी, पता नहीं कैसे, but होगा types, okay. But I never put all my eggs in that basket.
So the vision was there, basically.
The vision was there, but my parents didn't have like funds to like fund my daydreams ki बैठ के सपने देखो बेटा. So I was working, I was very happy, I was working with great people and everything, and then things just happened. And it's not that I suddenly made a decision to move to Mumbai. It took 6 months of back and forth. There were different. I remember there was a time I went to Bombay to see houses in Andheri East because at that point I had an offer to join TVF as an employee. And for someone in advertising, that's a big leap. Suddenly
Sure.
you get to do pure creative work.
Yeah.
Not just brand work.
Yeah.
So there was that. Then there was other stuff, and I was always very worried about the financial aspect of living in Bombay. And it was really, really expensive. So I took my time, and it's only when I kind of was introduced to the whole agency culture, artist management culture, that I realized, oh, this is actually legit. Like these people whose YouTube videos we watch and things, they're not just doing this for fun. They're actually making money out of it, and more money than what some of us are presumably making. So I was very skeptical. But I knew one thing so my dad had told me before I went to study abroad, he's like, if you do this experience successfully, you won't be a stranger in any part of the world. you know. And that time I didn't understand. I was like, क्यों कर रहे हैं ऐसा मेरे साथ types. But
मतलब
I
अमेरिका जाने के लिए?
हाँ हाँ मतलब
अच्छा,
वो लोग बड़ा
you
favor-
were अच्छा, आप you weren't in favor of going to America and like doing a
No,
course
no, no.
there and all of that.
I was in the sense I
Huh.
only gave my SATs and everything, but I
Huh.
was very, very scared when it
Sure.
actually worked out, you know, because it's a whole
Huh.
other reality when you go there. Especially if you're not in a city and not in a college with like a lot of Indian students and you're very
Sure.
happy where you live. Like my
Yeah.
parents are very chill ना, तो मैं
हाँ.
छूट के नहीं आई थी, मेरे classmates छूट के आए थे अमेरिका.
हाँ.
मैं
हाँ.
तो homesick थी all the time, so I meant
हाँ.
it like that. So anyway, that's how I decided to move. And I think the rationale that I gave myself was that if you don't take this chance, you won't forgive yourself, you know. And I was lucky enough that I had bosses and all in advertisements. I remember my boss told me, he's like, Dua, if you and I remember I really pakawed him also with back and forth.
Huh.
Like, you know, got a raise and all also, and then I bounced also. Because I was very confused. I didn't know. And he did the math for me, I remember. Because he's like, I've been offered to head something in Bombay, but this is the math. See if you can manage this math and everything. And he told me, finally, I was like, I am going, you know, I've decided. And he said that, Dua, if you fail, you can always come back, but don't fail. You know, and he told me that. And so I was always like surrounded by good creative people. And I remember Papa said, "Beta, give it 6 months, give it a good shot, फिर देखना and all." I said, "अच्छा मेरी शादी की होती है, आप कहते give it 6 months? नहीं ना, आप तो कहते give it like what it takes types." So I said, "This is my career. I'll give it as long as it needs." And I think one thing I was luckily clear on was that I'm not going to two-time. Like my parents were not sure of what I'm going to Bombay to do. And they were like, why don't you transfer from your existing agency to the Bombay office and, you know, then audition and all. I said, नहीं, ये नहीं होगा. करना है तो मैं ठीक से करूँगी, जैसे करना है. You know?
And thank God you took that decision.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of people who kind of encouraged me. Whether at the start
back home?
It was the TVF people. No, back home also.
In Bombay?
Within Bombay, I had family in Bombay. I had, you know, people like Tanmay who placed their faith and said कि हाँ, because वो लोग ये करते थे. तो example था ना कि ये चल रहा है, ये इनका काम चल रहा है. So like that. So I think a lot of it worked out in that sense. Then moving to Bombay was a whole other scene only. I never knew anxiety before this.
Wow. So so basically Bombay got you anxiety, or it was the work that got you anxiety?
I think it was the nature of the work, because when you're working, you're not anxious. When you're not working is when you're anxious. And I never knew that more money could bring you more anxiety, you know. It's like never ending. And I always wonder why so many people who are famous and successful, why they kind of go towards a spiritual path, or why they, you know, philosophize endlessly. ऐसे क्यों करते हैं? फिर आपको समझ आता है कि like I was discussing with someone, I was like, एक time था where everyone just wanted to be rich and famous, but right now I think the best way to be is rich and anonymous, and moderately rich and anonymous. You know, too much of anything is just a curse.
But you know, to think of it, I mean, while you and I might understand the dynamics of it, but as a creator, why do you think कि आपको anxiety आ रहा है? Like, I mean, I know I'm going to ask, it's a bigger question because you're relating money and you're relating it to work, but would you want to explain that, you know, what it is in as a creator or as an artist who's always freelancing, whether you're an actor or a creator, what brought you that anxiety?
See, I think the biggest reason in, say, my case is the nature of online fame. Okay. It picks up a person who's randomly going about their business and makes them a star overnight or whatever, the apple of everybody's eye. That's what generally happens. Okay. But the usual trajectory is what? Like in Bombay, you meet a lot of people जो सालों से लगे हुए हैं. कुछ किसी ने AD किया इतने सालों से. Then they've done multiple jobs. You know, like Shweta Tripathi, my best friend. She's done so many things while living in Bombay. She's worked in a magazine. She's been in casting. She's been in AD. She's been a photographer. So many things. And फिर वो जाके actor बनी.
It's so inspiring.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then it
Hmm.
gives you perspective, it gives you patience, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
in our case,
Hmm.
literally my first gig made me famous.
Hmm.
So then, and my father was also telling me, he goes, Beta, you came like that. You will plateau. And you will have to be okay with plateauing. You
Huh.
know, you
Huh.
will have to be fine with not only the ups and downs, but the planes that come with it. So I think that brings you anxiety when
Huh.
suddenly when the benchmark is set high. Secondly, the nature of online interaction. Like today, I deleted Instagram off my phone because I'm
Wow.
up to no good. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh,
Huh.
today I will feel good. I'll do something, and then suddenly I get sucked into this world
World.
where I'm
Yeah.
looking at celebrities going to the gym. I don't care if they're going to the gym. Who cares? और somebody किसी का के साथ ये हुआ, किसी के नए ऑफिस का मुहूर्त है, किसी का कुछ है, कोई लड़ रहा है, or
Huh.
some creator did something good with their lives, and so I must feel that why am I not doing that, or
Huh.
things like that. Whereas there's so much that we're all doing.
Hmm.
We're all actually constantly working on ourselves. It's unfair to think that we aren't, and
Absolutely.
luckily my therapist always corrects me and she's like, you're not doing this, it's your anxiety that's causing you to behave a certain way, and now I've learned to make that distinction because it's very crippling. It's that voice in your head which is like, oh, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough, you could have done this, but this happens. एंड एंग्जाइटी के बड़े रूप होते हैं. पहली एंग्जाइटी होती है कि मैं कुछ नया शुरू कैसे करूं, वो ठीक एंग्जाइटी होती है. इट्स दैट एंग्जाइटी which comes from trauma, where like Bombay is a very cutthroat city, okay, and this industry is another level of cutthroat. So I've had many experiences where I have placed my faith in people, only to have it kind of shattered, right? I mean, you've been part of some of those experiences, and individually also, it's very easy. Every second person will be like, you should have your own show, yeah, why don't you have your own show like Mindy and like this and like that? And I'm like, buddy, how many times do I tell you that there have been so many people with whom I've associated in the capacity of a show, but the process of making a show is so weird and twisted. And the thing is, it's very easy to like call a creator or anyone and say, I want to develop something with you, but hey, do you have the time, do you have the money, do you have the inclination, do you have what it takes to like get work out of people, or to live up to the word, to your word, and it'll happen with so many creators. And I tell everybody who's starting out now कि ये बहुत होगा, हर कोई तुम्हारे साथ next ये बनाना चाहेगा, next वो बनाना चाहेगा. Every second person wants to make the next Mrs. Maisel, but ultimately I realized that when you're freelancing, it's all the more important to just try and work with people like you trust. Meet people, meet new people, form new connections. But if you're committing to work, it's important to have trusted people around you. B, it's very important to be legally like protected, because what happens in the name of politeness. A lot of people take meetings, they do writing करे जा रहे हैं और कोई पेपर वर्क ही नहीं है और दूसरी पार्टी वैनिश हो जाती है फिर, And so now I think certain lessons that I've learned. So now when somebody tells me, you should work on this, you should create this, you should create that, I'm like, I will. But I'll do it my way while keeping my respect intact and not do it to please anybody. So that, like, if tomorrow I have to make my own show, it's going to have a producer I pick, it's going to have my lawyer on board, it's going to have my writers and all of that, so that it really does see the light of day and I don't waste my time because it's very precious.
Absolutely. But it's interesting to see you talk about, putting your things together, your people and, your producers. I mean,
I've
producers
learned
you
that
prefer.
from you actually. Like that's something, that's a learning that you have given me, in fact, of because when we come and we're kind of when new people come to an industry or a city and they are being pursued left, right, center and all, it's very exciting. But it's only later that you realize that it's important to form your own family. I won't even say tribe,
Absolutely.
I'll say family,
Yes,
because
yes.
that's what sees you through. And
Yeah.
and you should definitely have those 3-4 people whose advice you take, who are allowed to criticize you, who are allowed to look out for you, and who you are allowed to be a complete wreck and failure in front of.
Absolutely, it's very important that, in especially in an industry like ours, where things are moving so fast, and everybody wants to like do this and that, and like we're surrounded by ideas and all. It's important that you are also surrounded by people where you are allowed to fail, you're allowed to fall, you are allowed to be an absolute mess with. And I'm so glad that because I've been seeing you all these years, you have come to that point. Because I remember, seeing you very restricted at some point of time. That at one point of time, when you were angry or upset about something, you would either completely take it out in a very very different manner, or
Public
you would
way.
or you would go online and put it. But I think the
Hmm.
journey that you've had, wherein you've understood that there are certain ways to bring out your anger, or you want to change the system in a certain manner, you've kind of figured your way through, which is, I think, beautiful. But taking talking again about that step from moving to Bombay from Delhi. So it was uncomfortable, and then you figured your people, and then the anxiety took in. And I think somewhere, and then you said you got that plateau or whatever, right, around 2 3 years back. uh
No, no.
how
I mean, say I've always feared a plateau.
you feared a plateau?
All
Okay.
creators, every moderately popular person or anybody fears a plateau. But what
Hmm.
we don't understand is that there's no definitive moment where you're gonna plateau or plummet or
Hmm. Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
just the everyday. जो आज है वो जरूरी है, और उसके अलावा एक लॉन्ग टर्म सोचना जरूरी है. उसके
Hmm.
बीच में सब नॉइज है. Is what I truly believe.
So Malika, and absolutely 100% agree with you in terms of the ups and downs and noises, and like having a larger vision, or like I would say an iconic goal, a set of iconic goals for you. But I've also seen you go downward spiral creatively a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
Wherein we have spoken, wherein you said, Anshu, I can't create, right? As a creator, you I think it's a periodic process, or whatever you want to. How, but you always somehow then come back. How do you figure that? What do you
So,
do?
see, the best way to, and this happens every day. Every day. I'm not a creator who,
Hmm.
see, unfortunately, I'm not a very workaholic kind of a person in that
Hmm.
sense.
Hmm.
Like, I do tend to lose my mind if I'm not working for long periods, but at the same time, I'm fiercely protective of my freedom and my leisure and all of that. Okay. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not, maybe if I was a disciplined person, or I mean, I'm disciplined in my own way, but if I was different in that
Hmm.
sense, I would probably be a YouTuber who, has a very structured upload schedule or whatever. I don't
Hmm.
have that. I'm very spontaneous. I didn't even pursue the career that I have right now. It just happened to me. So I'm
Hmm.
figuring it out. I think that's the
Hmm.
cause of anxiety. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I didn't have a plan. I was kind of randomly put on a pedestal and then thrown into this world, and then I'm figuring it out now as I'm
Hmm.
experiencing it. तो ये बहुत होता है because, and imagine, it used to happen earlier like 2 3 years ago, and now if you go online, it's clutter, it's just complete clutter, right? Like, I
Hmm.
was talking to my other friends who are also creators, and they're like, there's so much nastiness that goes on where one person
Hmm.
messages the other saying, ये तो मेरा idea था, ये तो मैंने किया था, और फिर तूने नहीं किया. And मैंने ऐसा बहुत किया है where I'd be like,
Hmm.
why are girls trying to do these characters, or why are girls doing Delhi characters? And then I went through that whole toxic
I know.
cycle, only to emerge out of it like wiser, and understanding that actually, Malika, you were quite sick of doing that yourself.
Yeah.
What bothered you was your inertia, not the fact
Huh.
that others were doing it. I think
So
what bothered me was that I'm over it, but some people are discovering it, and the audience is lauding them for discovering it. How is that fair? But I was like, no, this is my process. Why am I outsourcing my grief to somebody else? Like, if I'm, and it happens every day where I'm like, see, now the reasons are ki I'm someone who, I think you know this about me, I speak when I'm spoken to, and I
yeah.
speak little.
Huh.
And the same goes for the way I create. Okay, I'm like, if I
Sure.
really want to say something, I'll put it out there. But when I go online, I'm like numb because I'm like, oh my god, there are reels, videos, ye wo, paparazzi, idhar udhar. Like I don't know, my brain goes into like a freeze mode. I get sensory overload when I go online now. Whether it's on Instagram or YouTube, Twitter, to of course I get a toxic attack when I go. But so now I'm like, what do I have to say here? मैं क्या बोलूं? And क्या हो गया ना, with therapy and with experience, even if you want to put something out there, you're like, नहीं, मैं process ही कर लेती हूँ, क्या डालना. तो अब वो एक problem हो गई है, because I'm like, I've almost started savoring evolving privately than putting every little thing out there. And also the idiom has also been changing, online. Now it's content, it's shorter content stuff that Gen Z kind of relates to more, and a lot of trends. Everything is trend based. Earlier it was not, even until
It was more
last year
insight based.
it was insight based, and I've always been someone who just does things according to her whim. I've never even caught a trend. I'm too in my own world. So to answer your question, how I get over it is I think the most important thing, and I won't lie, I speak to people who make me feel better about myself. I speak to you, I speak to Smithal, who, for those who don't know, is my agent. I speak to my sister, I speak to my father, who has so much perspective about life and career. I mean, if someone has seen ups and downs, creative, financial, of all kinds, it's him, right? So he always tells me. And then I look back at my own journey, my own work, and I'm like, ये भी तुमने किया ना, तो आगे भी तुम ही करोगे. Like,
Absolutely.
luckily I have that perspective in my head where I have surrounded myself with people who don't let me like talk down to myself. Like they allow me to call myself out, but they don't allow me to like wallow in self pity and all that shit. So I end up
But you-
doing something.
But this is like a conscious effort wherein you know that, okay, I've reached a creative block, but okay, let me find a way out of it, and then you go back to doing it, because we obviously see you going back to doing it, whether it's through your acting, whether through the scripts that you write for brands or on shows that you're working, or you shoot and all of that. But you do then tend back, because I mean that's something that a lot of us who worked with you admire, that while you reach that block, you will still, maybe not in one day, maybe not in 2 days, but you do tend to come out of it through that one trigger that you need, or maybe a set of people.
Always. And I think more than creative block in my case, and it's okay to talk about it, it's a mix of depression and anxiety. Because we can take therapy, we can take medication, but the nature of our work, industry, and lifestyle is such that our cortisol levels will always be all over the place. Our serotonin will always be all over the place. And a lot of days, it's hard to tell whether it's a creative block or whether it's just plain old anxiety and depression holding you back. And it's normal, especially for a person like me. And so I'm kind to myself, I would say that. I make sure I talk to myself, and now I'm like कि ठीक है, अगर किसी को 10 सेकंड लगते हैं कुछ करने में और तुमको एक हफ्ता लगता है, कोई बात नहीं. हर किसी की अपनी जर्नी होती है ना, because we're also surrounded by amazing examples. We have overnight fame examples, but we also have beautiful stories of resilience. Like, all of these exist in the same entertainment business only, right?
Absolutely.
So it really helps to constantly see कि I'm like, यार ये लोग कर रहे हैं ना, सब है यहाँ पे. And I look at the internet and I'm like, you can diss it for taking and promoting garbage, or you can thank it for giving you the life you have today, or you can really admire it for like taking people who didn't get their due back in the day, and now today look at them.
Yeah. But it also, I mean, it's also found some really amazing creative people. I mean, and you are surrounded by a lot of them, most of your creative friends or friends from comedy and all of that. And we talk about it quite a lot on how talented these people are. It's just that they all have different set of journeys, right? Some choose to go on the stand-up way, and some choose to go completely the YouTube way, or now there are obviously every day there are new options coming in, etc. But tell me, how is this entire thing about you being so creative and those who work around you? I mean, I have to take the advantage of telling the audience that because I've worked with you for so long and known you for so long, I understand the kind of talent that you have, right? how is, like, you'll suddenly come up with something. If I tell you that, Malika, you have to think of it, you will never come back to me with, and but if I tell you in the saying, oh, you take your time, then you might suddenly come with something very, very interesting. You're not one of those people who will work under too much stress, right? But how
नहीं
is
देखो,
this?
अंडर पेचेक मैं कर लेती हूँ, बट अंडर एब्स्ट्रैक्ट स्ट्रेस में नहीं कर सकती. Yeah, you know
But
what I
tell
mean.
me, yeah, I know. But tell me, how did this reflect in while you were growing up in terms of your like throughout your childhood? Were you that wacky, if I have to put it? Because I mean, see, I know somewhere you also inherited from your father a lot, because your mother is like the more disciplined, calmer version, But like, how was the childhood like in terms of all these wacky stuff? How did it reflect, the creativity reflect during childhood?
Anshuja was nuts as a child. I was so
Sure.
restless. Like, my dad and I would make songs. It was our thing. Like,
सुनाओ ना.
पापा used to work a lot. वो तो मैं सुना ही नहीं सकती. अजीब से होते थे यार.
हाँ.
Like, अजीब अजीब गाने, मेरे घोड़े जैसी गर्दन. Like, अजीब जानवरों को लेके गाने, या कवालियां बनाती थी. I used to play a character called Kawali Sahab. I used to do
हाँ.
random shit. Like, I always had this. I'd go to my dad's cupboard. He used to have
हाँ.
these caps and all. I used to wear them. I used to wear his sherwani, and I used to start becoming a Kawali singer. Or
हाँ.
I used to, make up songs with him. I was always restless, dancing, singing. Parents always put us in creative things. So we were always like singing, taking music classes, or,
हाँ.
acting or doing something or the other. So that was there, but I was very, like, I won't say naughty, like वो बड़ी शैतान है, चीजें तोड़ देती है, but I always had khujli of like doing something. Like, even I'll show you some of my childhood pictures if I find them. I used to play a lot of dress up, and not in the way कि हर लड़की अपने मम्मी के कबर्ड में लिपस्टिक लगाती है, but in a very twisted kind of a way. I'd do weird hairdos, and so I was always that person, and that's the person who I took to stage with me. I always had a performer in me, हमेशा, चाहे वो किसी को imitate करना हो या acting करनी हो, या even when I was a debater, I was quite a theatrical one, so I always had that love for drama. And my childhood also was very restless. I had major like concentration issues, so I was never a kid who did well academically. I was very good with languages, because again, language is application for the most part, like Hindi, English and all. But I could never understand how कि मुझे कभी समझ नहीं आया लोग किताब लेके रट के निकाल के स्मार्ट कैसे बन जाते हैं. मेरे को तब भी समझ नहीं आया था, और अब की तरह तब उस सिस्टम को कोई क्वेश्चन भी नहीं करता था. So I had quite a hard time in school, but luckily my parents were very encouraging of us, like being very good at extracurricular activities and everything. So that was my childhood. Very restless, very always wanting to know बाहर क्या हो रहा है, टीवी पे क्या हो रहा है, like हमेशा.
I have a little replica like that at home.
Yeah, you have a budding YouTuber at home.
The reason I'm asking, because as a mother to that little donut that I have at home, and she's very creatively inclined. I've always admired your mother, especially China ji. Sorry, we again call her China ji because that's the
everyone is a G.
Yeah, everyone's a G. But I've always admired the camaraderie that you have with your mother, not just with your father. It's a very different kind of this thing, wherein while they've given you that freedom, etc., you also call them out a lot, right? You as sisters, or in fact even your elder sister and all, you will point them and saying, no, this is wrong, you're thinking wrong, or this is not, and the parents will take it. I want to know more about it, like what was so different that led you, both you and your sister, to kind of choose completely different professions and doing extremely well, because I know your elder sister is also doing extremely well. So yeah, I mean, what was so different? I mean, if you can point that out.
So if today we are able to disagree with our parents, call them out, etc., it's because they've always empowered us to, And I always say this, like our parents didn't raise us like boys. क्यों कहते हैं ना कि हमने तो अपनी बेटियों को बेटों की तरह पाला, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. They raised us like human beings who they told that we can achieve anything we want and we're not less than anybody, you know. If today we are able to disagree with our parents, school them, call them out, or whatever it is, it's because they've always empowered us to. We've never seen our parents as authority figures. We've always and always seen them as our guardians and our friends. Hamesha. And I don't know, I think for a brief period, of course, I looked at my mother as an authority figure when, school mein marks and ye wo chaante padte the and all that. But that was also, that phase ended soon enough because I was too rebellious to like let it go on for too long. And our parents have always adapted. It's never been like ki we've had to adapt. They have adapted to the way we have kind of grown up and things like that. So it's been that, and there's always been space to talk about things. Our parents have never been hypocritical in front of us. Like they say na ki maa baap ke samne gaali de rahi ho. Like a lot of people say, how do your parents watch your videos? I'm like, my parents are not hypocrites. They understand how the world works. They understand how people speak, and they understand that like we're not righteous beings. We're all human beings. So that's how it's been, and they've always kept things very, very open for us. It's not like we've never been afraid of revealing our deepest, darkest secrets to our parents, or like even when the worst things have happened to me, the first people I've told is my family. And I think kudos to my parents for having that understanding, because my mother, father are very different from each other actually. They're poles apart as personalities. Yeah, but as parents, they obviously had a set of common values through which they raised us. तो वो हमेशा था.
But who is it that
आपका
you've
सवाल ही
taken?
भूल गई मैं.
I was asking that what was so different while you were growing up? Like, what led you to be so creatively inclined? What was so different in the upbringing? And you've kind of answered that they kind of give you, they gave you your individuality and, the freedom to think and not take them as authority figures, but as guardians maybe.
And another important thing that we saw growing up, and which is why I'm not an obsessive workaholic, is because both my parents, I saw them working like part-time pretty much. Like my mother, she used to work full-time, and then when we were a little older, she chose to work half-day, not so that she can give up her career for us, but she learns music, she does whatever, she does her cooking, she does her classes, she goes out with her friends. Same with my father. I saw him going to the studio, working before that, like on the day's news or whatever, and then going to the studio, shooting, coming back, and then chilling. So I've always seen parents who've had a very stunning work-life balance, and which is why I'm like, कि क्यों लोग पूरे दिन काम करते हैं? मतलब क्यों? Why do they choose to if they can't? I'm saying why?
But your mother's always. Sorry, I'm cutting you in, but I also feel that your mother's quite a workaholic and like a hard worker, because at this age she does like quite a lot of things which both of us combined together don't do.
I think she's more than a workaholic. She's a very productive soul. Like she's very interested in learning new things. She's not interested in just aimlessness. Like there's a great work-life balance even with my mother, because like a simple thing like her patients would tell her, it's so nice to see a well-dressed doctor, pleasantly dressed doctor. And I remember for years, for as long as I've like known her working, she used to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I would be a very disgruntled person if I had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and deal with like diseases the whole day. And then two like girls raising them. But never. Like it's always been like you have to pursue every hobby that you have. You have to look good. You have to learn new things. You have to, So I wish I inherited some of that from her. I'm like a proper marble cake, both my parents. Like I have so many qualities of my father creatively. So many. Whether it's like spontaneity or this
The
whole
humor.
The humor, the spontaneity, or the attitude, ki take it or leave it. वो तो वहीं से आया है. But at the same time, there is a constant voice, I think, that keeps me in check, which is my mother, which is what I've got from her,
Yeah.
Where at the end of the day, I managed to get my shit together, which is also him.
I think
But
the
like there's a
warmth that
very
you
organized
have.
side.
Sorry, I'm just adding to when you mentioned about the warmth that you have for people, especially the people close to you, is from your mother, because your mother has the same kind of aura or
So
energy, if I
it's
have to put it.
both, you know. Like
Yeah,
again, yeah, like one thing parents always taught us is that if you have excess of something, it's because you were meant to share it with others.
absolutely.
Like that has always been what has been taught to us कि कभी भी खाना अकेले अकेले नहीं लेके जाना, कभी भी कुछ भी अकेले नहीं करना. अगर if you have a resource, then it has to be shared with another person who doesn't have it, or who's dear to you, or whatever it is, you know. And this I've seen it like majorly with my father, where he'd be like, यार आप तो मतलब इतने खुले हाथ से कुछ भी, you know. So I think that we've got from our parents, both of them. But if there is this constant restless person inside me कि कुछ करना है, that's from my mother. My dad is very chill. Like he has this beautiful quality where he can sleep the whole day and be okay with it, you know. And once he's done his work, he'll be like, हाँ मैं ठीक हूँ. ये उनको वो नहीं होता, उनको हुड़क नहीं मचती कि हाय रब्बा कुछ करना है. ना he is very chillax. So this I have from my mother, and this obsessive need to be a clean freak and stress about travel and all of that is from my mom as well.
Mother.
Like I'm a little
But
logistically I'm very sound. I think that's from my
yeah.
mother.
Yeah, but so this, I mean, in fact, this was my one of my questions, that obsessive need to gift people around you. Where does that come from?
That is I think I feel that's like a girlfriend to girlfriend thing. Like I don't have it just with ऐसी कोई भी. I have it with people I'm fond of. Okay, and it could also be just the fashion stylist in me that never pursued it or whatever it is. Like I wanted to be a stylist at one point, you know, years
Sure.
ago.
You can
And I
choose to be
love-
now.
No, why would I? I'm in a better profession. So
Like
but,
your hobby, the way you're doing interiors, right?
हाँ. But I'll tell you, I have this love for curating things. Okay, if it was just gifting ना, ऐसे कुछ भी मैं उठा के दे देती किसी को भी. But it's always about XYZ is my friend and they love this. I don't know what it is. I just love seeing something on another person when I look at it ना, and I'll tell you why. Because एक टाइम आता है जब आपको पता चलता है कि शॉपिंग से खुशियां नहीं मिलती हैं. It's
Sure.
actually मतलब after a point नहीं मिलती है, especially when your profession involves dressing up and all of that. You realize that no, actually I loved dressing up before I started getting paid for it. So now when I have all of these girlfriends who are not camera facing, it's some weird joy that I have where I'm like, no man, this is amazing. Like that's where actual fashion lies. It's not on cameras where you hire a stylist and you know आप कुछ भी पहना के चले जाते हैं. It's actually in the women that we see every day, and not the everyday women that ad campaigns pretend to target, but actual people that you know. So I think with my girlfriends, it's that. The only like camera facing person I had that was Shweta, where both of us keep gifting each other cute things because I don't know, if I see something and I want her to have it, she has to have it. It's as simple as that.
Sure.
You know. तो वो है. बट ये तो मेरे को पता नहीं खुद से आया है. आई थिंक मेरी कजन से आया है. पता नहीं क्या होता है ये. It makes me very happy. And now I'm more into like customizing gifts also, because on Instagram there's so many like small businesses where they customize cute things, and I decided this year that boys को मैं गंदे gifts नहीं दूंगी. Like, you know, with men you always end up like giving a cologne and getting away with it or something random. Where I was like, no, I'm gonna give everybody like cute gifts. I don't know. It just makes me happy.
I'm quite keen to know who are the boys, because
Which boys?
Who are the boys that you're gifting these to?
Oh, they
These
are
gifts
friends.
to?
Yeah. No, they are friends.
but what is so? I mean, can we talk about then the dating
No,
life?
other boys who I'm interested in, they get the gift of my attention and my attitude.
So are these boys like Bombay based or Delhi based?
There are no boys, Anshu ji. आप तो ऐसे कह रहे हो जैसे पता नहीं कोई हैं लड़के. There are no boys. You know exactly there's not even a hint of a boy.
Why do you think that it's become difficult to date ever since, like, you've achieved a certain amount of, like, say, stardom, or, like, you become a public figure, it has become difficult to date?
I think it was always difficult to date for me, always.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now it's just that the now I'm just more judgmental than I already was.
Sure.
Uh, but it's always been very hard for me to like date people and find people. And ek to I'm very shy. You know, I'm not who people think my characters are or whatever. I can't even make eye contact, especially. And the worst, the biggest, the destruction is if I actually like a person, then my reaction is to run away from them. Oh no, what if they get to know I like them? Now I must show extra attitude so they don't feel special. Like, I have no game, Anshuji. The worst thing that has happened to me is adulthood because pehle, clubs jaake we used to do shots and we used to be like, yeah, and like we'd like, hook up with a guy or whatever. Now it's like, oh no, we have to like be like who we are in front of each other, and I can't. I think somewhere it's also because I'm so used to being by myself and living by my rules that I can't like when people say things like ये तो compromise होता है, शादी compromise है, relationship है, and ऐसा नहीं है that I haven't had good relationships. I have, but they all, everything ends at some point. It's either that the chemistry is very good, but the other person is too much of a mess to want to make it a relationship, or it's just long distance that doesn't work. And now nobody sabotages their own dreams anymore, right? Like women
Yeah.
don't do that anymore, especially.
Yeah.
कि मैं दूसरे शहर से तुम्हारे शहर आ जाऊंगी, ये सब नहीं करते लोग. मतलब मेरा करियर उतना ही जरूरी जितना तुम्हारा है.
Sure.
But
So do you think that it becomes very difficult, and it's a generic question, that it becomes difficult for women after they achieve a certain amount of success? I mean, and not just as public figure, even women who are doing well in, say, jobs, right? It becomes more and more difficult to find partners or boys, because because of the success they've achieved. Do you think that happens, or you think that it's just a notion, aisa kuch nahi, it's just a stroke of luck?
no, I do think it happens because somewhere the conditioning is that a man will come and fulfill certain needs in our life. But when those needs are so well taken care of by us, ourselves, what we look for in a partner is very different. Okay? And oftentimes you tend to like see the person for who they are, and then they don't match up. Either it's intimidating that you make more money than them, or the fact that they are just not who you need emotionally at that point. I think personally for me, I can't handle like lack of drive in a person. And we all, no matter what we say that oh love is blind and all that, no, we all have a criteria. All of us do, of what we look for in a partner. Of course.
So will you be okay, dating a man who's earning less than you?
Yeah.
You will be. Okay.
Yeah, but how less is also the question, no? Like
Sure.
it can't be. I mean, it would be very romantic to say कि मैं संभाल लूंगी and all of that. But I mean everyone. I believe in dual income households, and I believe that finances are so tricky that they should always be kept out of the conversation. कि मतलब both parties should have their own source of income. Yeah, you have joint earnings and joint spendings and all of that shit. But it's very important for women to have their own money to spend and for men to have their own money to spend. And then when you're raising children, वो तो मैंने किया नहीं है तो मुझे मालूम नहीं वो कैसे होता है. But I truly believe that that's important. And at no point should either party have to compromise.
Yeah, I mean, once you have children, the biggest thing that you've done together is brought that little human into the world. So nothing else matters,
Correct.
as a combined product or whatever combination in terms
Yeah.
of, because that's the best combination you've delivered or produced. But so this entire dating thing, where are we? Are we comfortable with the online dating app thing?
अरे मैंने बहुत किया था, you know, before this whole Instagram thing blew up for me and all of that. Like when I was like in advertising copywriter, I used to do all of this a lot and I used to love it because I was like, how interesting, shy लोगों के लिए कितना अच्छा है, आपको लोगों से मिलने को मिल रहा है and all of that. But now I can't do it. I can't do it anymore because it's just too much to filter. You know, I can't put myself out there and talk to strangers anymore. Because I am a public figure. And you know, what happens now is that even if I don't right swipe on somebody, they message me on Instagram or they message me somewhere else saying that aapko yahan dekha tha and all of that, you know. So you don't want that. I don't want it personally. And I've tried, you know, even after being popular and all, I've tried going on these apps and tried meeting people. But I was just like, nahi, bro. Matlab, I think I respect myself too much to like.
So you don't feel that you can find meat in terms of, you know, good boys on dating apps because of you know, because
No,
of
I think I
certain
can,
amount of
but I just don't have the bandwidth to do it anymore. Because it's
Sure.
especially, it's like a long process. You have to meet a lot of people.
But do you
If
get tired? Yeah. Do you get tired like doing this online, like, you know, because you have to talk to so many boys?
It's exhausting. And it's
Yeah?
robotic. It's exhausting and robotic. And पता है क्या है?
हाँ.
पहले क्या था, it was a relief from your work desk कि हाय पूरे दिन यहीं बैठना है, जा नहीं सकते कहीं, फोन उठा लो, escape. Now I'm a freelancer. I can do what I want with my day for the most part. So I'm literally scheduling time to find a partner. And that's so mechanical. It's so robotic and I don't enjoy it beyond a point. Unless, of course, you meet somebody who you suddenly have a conversation with. But that doesn't happen, you know.
Anymore.
It doesn't. And I've tried it. Sometimes I think I have pangs and I might still try and do it again. Maybe another app. But even the apps where women make the first move, I'm like, I'm too shy for that. It's like I think it's empowering that you get to do it, but I'm
It's
like
amazing.
I'm too awkward and shy to like be able to do that. You know, unless I see someone who's also popular and whose work I'm a fan of or something, then maybe I will reach out. But for me, I think I'm very awkward romantically. Like I'm very, very awkward. I can't admit that I'm interested in a person unless it comes from them. And that's very, very, I would say, like limiting and regressive in a way. But
So then this entire, you know, business of casual dating, which is a term which I got to learn from some of you a couple of years back, you don't, do you get, are you comfortable with, or you're not? Like, you know, this entire term of, ki, okay, we are figuring, right? Are you okay with that, or you can't take it? Like, you're like, okay, either you date or you don't date.
Theoretically, I'm okay with it, but when practically it happens to me, I'm like, it's very exhausting because I'm like, please, yaar. You know, I feel there's a certain, I think now, earlier I used to be very chill with just figuring it out and all. But A, I've not figured it out with anyone in a long time. B, I'm like, कि अगर आप figure out ही कर रहे हो, then see, I feel that in these things, na, you have to go in with a certain intention. Okay. If I'm meeting too many people too many times, then I'm not figuring it out. Then I'm just like probably bored. Like for example, if I'm on a dating app and I'm meeting 7-8 boys in that week or 10 boys or whatever, and each of them great. But then if I continue to meet all 7-8 of them for the next 6 months, then I'm not figuring it out with that one person. I'm wasting their time. You know, and and you can call me a millennial auntie for saying that, but that's a fact. So I think that finding that one person and figuring it out with them is important, and you don't have to give it a label. But at the same time, we live in a world of like too many choices, right? In everything. We're spoiled for choice in everything, including people now.
Yeah.
So somewhere, and this happens even like आप घर भी ढूंढने जाओगे ना, आप 10 ब्रोकर से बात करोगे and eventually you'll just be like मैं एक ही से बात करती हूँ.
I can't believe you're comparing finding boys on dating app to finding houses.
Aren't you just more important to find a house than a boy? It's the most important thing. Oh my God. Like
So
I'm
which is
like
on
पहले मैं घर ढूंढूंगी फिर मैं लड़का ढूंढूंगी.
that was my question, which is priority right now, to find yourself a house where you want to kind of shift to next in Bombay, or to find yourself a boy whom you can date and possibly figure a future with.
I think I'm so bored, man. I just want to find myself a new hobby. I'm like कि कुछ तो करो यार. मतलब इतनी बोर हो चुकी हूँ ना मैं.
Okay, since you've conveniently skipped that answer, let's do. Okay, I'm going to try and do something.
अरे I'm always looking for a boy, Anshuji. You know me. And when I find a boy, I'm like, hi, I'm not interested. Chal bye. Hat. Like I have that problem.
Who's that boy then? What is the boy? What is the kind of. Okay, let's put it out in the universe. What's
I
the
have no
kind of
type.
boy?
That's the problem.
Okay, let's figure. No, give me prototypes. Like since
Okay,
you don't,
I'll tell you
since you
what
don't
is a
watch.
must.
Since you don't watch Korean dramas, I can't give you that example. I've not been able to get you onto it. But Fawad Khan se shuru kar sakte hain. But yeah.
I have to really, really like look up to them professionally. They have to have a sense of humor, or a sense of appreciation for my humor, even if they don't have their own. You know, it's important. And then they should be very patient because hello, and and high emotional intelligence, not superficial. Ki you know. तुम्हारे बाल सीधे अच्छे लगते हैं यार तुम थोड़ा वेट लूज कर लो फिर तो मतलब हटो ना 2 सेकंड भी मैं बात नहीं करूंगी एंड या शुड बी वेरी इंडिपेंडेंट आई डोंट वांट अ पापा का परा जो मतलब कुछ करता नहीं है लाइक देयर आर सो मेनी बॉयज इन दिल्ली हु जस्ट डोंट डू एनीथिंग and it's shocking that they are so okay with not doing anything so that I can't take especially if you come from a rich family and you don't do anything I'm like no 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 not happening तो वो सब है but if you notice in all of this there's no type as such
Sure.
like I don't have a physical type I don't have a personality type in that sense I like if I'll take you through my dating log you will see there's like just a variety of people.
Sure. Tell me, okay. Let's cut this and let's try and play a fun game. I always wanted to do that, with you. It's like a 5-question rapid fire.
Done.
Okay, you have to answer whatever I ask you, right? Boyfriend from Delhi or boyfriend from Bombay?
Boyfriend from Bombay.
Okay. Boyfriend from comedy or boyfriend from films?
Comedy.
Okay.
फिल्म वाले बड़े conceited होते हैं.
Acha, friends in the comedy business, please note. Interiors or theatre?
Theatre, always.
Okay. Tinder auntie or Nazia?
Oh, how to pick? Can't pick, Anshuji.
Yeah, choose.
Can't pick. Tinder auntie. She can say anything, yaar. She just gets away with it.
I somehow, when I was writing this question, I swear I thought you will say this.
Yeah. I love playing her. I just love being in her skin.
Dating apps, chatting on dating apps, or chatting on reaching out on DMs?
DMs.
Okay. Okay, and the last one. Hook up with a stranger or hook up with an ex-boyfriend?
Neither. I'm too old for either now. Can't. None.
I'm not going to tell you who the source of this question was.
Who was it?
Clearly this question, I couldn't have thought of, and you know me. But
yeah, that's true. I was like, Anshuji, hook up. Anshuji, मुंह से hook up भी. For people watching, Anshu is very proper. She doesn't like. She's very old school, and she thinks like.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, I never knew I'm old school.
Yeah, you're old school. Classic. That's
Thanks, Malika ji. So, all through these years, आपने different forms and formats of trolling देख ली है. ठीक है, threads देख लिए, bullying देख लिए, body shaming देख लिए, सब कुछ देख लिया है. abhi kya hai? And I'm asking this particularly because you and I were sitting together a couple of days back, and somebody from a friend of yours was live, and you went and commented, and suddenly there was a barrage of hate, or rather galis coming in, and literally you had done nothing.
Yeah.
And instantly I was like, okay, is it that bad? Because हम सोचते हैं कि हाँ ठीक है, कमेंट्स आते हैं, ये आते हैं, बट इज इट बिकम सो बैड कि आप लाइव जा ही नहीं सकते हो? आप लाइव जाते हो तो आपको गालियां पड़ती है? इज इट बिकम सो बैड कि आप कुछ भी पोस्ट डालते हो तो आपको यू आर जस्ट बीइंग ट्रोल्ड?
No, it's not that. See, if you're in the middle of something like a controversial time or whatever, then yes, whatever you post, you get trolled for. There's enough love also. We earn an audience, so we have an audience that loves us. However, it's very gendered. Trolling, if you notice, largely it's so gendered because there'll be like a comedian posts something, okay, and a girl puts a comment beneath it. People will just randomly post galis, chup kar, sali, ignore kar diya, hai, something or the other. Like, I'll give you an example. That day, one of my contemporaries posted a very cute picture from his childhood, and a bunch of us commented on it, okay? Basic things, everyone was commenting something or the other. The women were getting just abused by random boys, like 15-year-old
Women
idiots
who were commenting?
Yeah, and like the famous ones. And the same thing if guys were saying, then bhai, 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 bhai. And I'm like, these 15, 16, 17-year-old boys not made a penny in their life, not worked a day in their life, just want to spread hate against women online. And it's a thing. It really is a thing. Like, they don't know how to be around women, so they just abuse them. A lot of it, and it's mostly just men. It is mostly just men, and I will not even mince my words. Like, see, if it's a specific topic, then yeah, women will troll other women. But ये जो फालतू की fuck all trolling होती है ना for no reason, where you just write something and like you saw it that day on that live, where it was just random boys abusing, and that didn't end, by the way. They were DMing me also after that, So that's how they collectively try and crush your spirit, or they crush your confidence. And it's the same thing, right? If you notice, it mirrors society. कि औरतों को इतना डरा दो, इतना discourage कर दो कि वो निकले ही ना बाहर. ये उसका वर्जन है, एक ऑनलाइन वर्जन, कि इनकी आवाज बंद कर दो. It is a form of gagging, isn't it? So there is trolling in context, there's trolling out of context. This is harassment, it's bullying, and I largely blame the people running social media networks and the people working for them for this, because they thrive off this, right? Like, if they can make stricter policies, they can make it a safer place if they want, but they don't.
But do you think so? While organizations or platforms can make stricter policies, but do you think as creators, do you think you guys can come together and do something about it? Do you think your male colleagues can come and maybe take a stance that if you guys are my fans, maybe you are not supposed to troll? Because what's also happening is, what I feel is that none of the male colleagues are, I mean, I'm sure they're also being trolled at some point of time, and the industry as such has been trolled, but do you think that if male colleagues stand up and say that you cannot troll women, do you think that will like just reduce a little bit?
Hugely. I feel if they make it a thing where they ensure, that I will block anybody who bullies a woman who comments on my post. You'll be blocked. You can't do that, because आप अपनी audience को क्यों block करोगे? Because वो audience तो मतलब भाई की fan है ना, भाई 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 मेरा भगवान है, whatever. And see, a lot of the so-called male comedians, they thrive on women bashing content, okay? Just bashing content where they've been wronged by, just doing content where they've been wronged by a woman, or very boy specific content, ठीक है? तो उनकी तो audience ही वही होती है, तो वहाँ तो किसी भी औरत की जगह ही नहीं है comment करने की, according to them. The second is, I mean, it's not even limited to that, because even if you're the most woke guy or whatever, all it takes is a comment. It's almost like तुझे हक किसने दिया कुछ भी comment करने का? How dare you? Like, that is the way they run. And it could be the most harmless post. Even if you write ha ha ha, they'll write chudel, chup kar, anything they will write, And this is another form of catcalling, harassment and bullying. And the thing is, if the algorithm monitors every move of ours, if these platforms know what we like, what we're talking about, what we're shopping about, they bloody well know that we're being bullied, and they should shut these accounts. Barbaric, it's inhuman.
I know. And, unfortunately, I think I've
And there,
seen
there
this
can be
in.
two, three ways of dealing with it. Sorry. There can be two, three ways of dealing with it. One has to be that these men, these creators, have to put their foot down and say that if you bully any woman who comments here, you're going to be blocked by me. It's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they, even if they reply, they can't possibly reply to every troll, because then it becomes bhai मैं आपका fan हूँ, इसका नहीं. It becomes that. They try and create that divide.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other is that creators, I mean, we can't possibly do that. We can't say कि हम कुछ upload ही नहीं करेंगे जब तक आप trolling stop नहीं करते.
That's your
Because
job,
that's also
right?
counterproductive to our work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can't keep making videos saying stop trolling me. Like, we have a job to do. Our job is not limited to
Yeah.
activism.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
or
And
make or thinking of creative ways to keep ourselves safe. Like, what the we're here to create.
yeah. And, it's sad because I know that you have spoken about it. You've spoken about a lot of your, female friends from the business who've gotten so affected by this entire trolling business, by being called out, by being body shamed, that they've questioned themselves on, what they're doing in terms of, and they are all very, very talented set of women. uh, I mean, I just kind of wanted to bring this conversation because I just feel that while talking to any of these platforms is a huge conversation, but I also truly believe that it can start from that one small step wherein, people around you, it's as as equal to as taking care of the women around you in, when you're offline, right? Men take care of you when you're, men are around you to, for your safety, for example. Similarly, your male colleagues can stand up and say, okay, no trolling on my page if other women are commenting. I mean, it's such a small step, but can be used to, I'm saying, you never know what the difference it can make.
It can make a huge difference. And
Yeah.
I can tell you right now only that if somebody does it, there will be enough woke people calling them out on something else that they have done wrong, because that is the culture. Ki, oh, look at him right now, he's standing up for women, but wherever you when this happened. Ye rubbish bhi bahut hoti hai online. And women are equally complicit in this kind of bullying. But I mean, that is the most normal thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, to discourage it on your page. It's like आपके घर का कल्चर आप डिटरमिन कर सकते हो ना.
Absolutely.
तो सिमिलरली आपके पेज पे जिस तरह की बातें होती हैं,
Yeah.
वो आप डिटरमिन कर सकते हो.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for example, I'll give you Kunal Kamra's example. If I comment something on a post he put or something, obviously that invites just hate and trolling, because वो उसके लिए भी हो रही है. Because all very politically charged and very controversial. But I'm talking about just basic harmless things that really, really reveal that very, very deep-seated misogyny that every little 14-year-old boy also has inside of him.
And it's sad that
that is just
it's
out
sad
of
that these
context hate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying that it's sad that these 12-year and 14-year-olds are feeling that this is normal to do, right? They're learning to grow up with this kind of misogyny.
They're like, this is what we're on the internet for, कि हमारे भाई की स्ट्रीम पे हमारा भाई ये करेगा, भाई वो करेगा, लौंडियों को निकालेंगे. Like they think this is funny. They'll get one slap in the real world, like उन्हें कोई भाव भी नहीं देगा. ये निकलेंगे ना अपने virtual bubble से. They're not gonna get anywhere. It's very comforting to like sit hidden on your gamer chair and abuse women, but who are you really? Like, who the hell are you? You're only ruining your chances of being successful in the future, or even being like a normal human being.
I mean, no, I understand. I mean, and I'm saying this from a gaming perspective that, when gaming started in India, yes, it was very, very toxic. But slowly, because I've been part of the gaming ecosystem as well, I can tell you that, there are enough and dime concentrated measures being taken to ensure that creators are being taught. They are being, even though they are young kids, they're being taught to be able to understand that this is right or wrong. Of course, there are extreme examples, everywhere. But I'm hoping, like comedy when it was very new, gaming now, because it's very new, things will take a little bit time, but I'm hoping it's going to get better. And I'm hoping for creators like you, where there's no dearth of talent, things get better and you guys feel more motivated to kind of come online and make us all laugh and entertain and talk to us and inspire us more than anything. You
I
hear
think
me?
it's important to point out just last week that Deepika Padukone shared a picture of somebody sending her a hateful DM. I'm like, just imagine
Yeah.
at every level this happens. Like,
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
is immune to this.
Yeah.
Like we literally oscillate between casual misogyny and hero worship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I really, really hope that women continue to, ignore these things. It's hard to. We're sensitive, porous people, especially the ones who are creative.
Hmm.
I hope to see more women in gaming. I hope to see more women in comedy, in everything. And
Hmm.
I just hope that the internet becomes a slightly saner place. it's
Sailor
it's
place.
just, yeah, I think we have this animal, this radioactive thing that we don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
And it gives us all the good things that we are thankful for, but um it's also quite like out of control, I would say.
It's something that Bill Gates said a couple of days back, that I wish when we invented the internet we had a few levers to kind of control it, because this entire anonymity thing, etc., is something which is like really going out of hand. And obviously he said it in a lot more different context, and meant and applicable for a lot more things. But I guess people are working and we're going to see a better world. Talking about a better world, I think I want to end this entire lovely conversation with you on something which is very, very representative of you, which is sisterhood. You are
Yeah.
this champion of, whether it's called sisterhood or having a tribe of women, which are your family, which are your friends, which are even in your family. It's really reflective, and you're very, very supportive of the women around you, right? Whether it's at work, whether it's the team that you work with, whether even in fact the producers that you work with, the actors. A lot of through your career, you have made close friends with pretty much a lot of these women. I would say a lot of men as well, but I'm just talking about sisterhood right now because I know it's been a very, very important anchor of your life, right? Through your moving days from Delhi to Bombay, and then settling into a completely new industry, finding your feet, and a lot more things. What has this been? What does it mean to you? And how it has helped you?
So I think the moment you realize that a lot of the problems, a lot of the angst, a lot of the issues you face are actually systemic and gender based, you learn to not only seek out other women who can look out for you, you tend to look out for other women as well. you
Sure.
know and one is as simple as friendship, ki kisi se friendship ho gayi, you form a bond and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But the other is certain things that I experience space, like very early on in my work I realized that I cannot have just men managing my work. It's just not possible. They're not going to be rooting for me as hard as the women do. They're not going to negotiate for me the way women do. They're not going to understand that, yes, my body works differently from theirs and my moods work differently from theirs, and that's a part of who I am. Then they have to
But
accept me with everything.
you do have men leading your accounts and being part of your,
I
the
do.
entire
But
system that
I
manage
also
you.
insist. Correct. See, agenting can at a certain level still be done. I think you and I were discussing that it can be gender agnostic at some level. But
Absolutely.
like there were times when I had immediate managers who were men, or see, it could be a person to person thing as well. But
Hmm.
what that's made me is that I insist on having more women in my team,
Hmm.
because especially in especially for the person I am. Okay.
Hmm.
Like, I'm done making excuses for being sensitive, for being particular, for being no nonsense, for those things. because I've seen how boys empower other boys. I've
Yeah.
seen it, especially in comedy. The whole boys' club is no longer an open secret, right? And I literally saw that how I started making money differently. I started looking at myself differently when there were women handling my work. When you in particular, literally, and the people you trained. So I don't know, I wouldn't even call it sexist. I'm just like, even now, my lead agent is a man. But there's that respect and understanding that the rest of us are women, and like there's a sisterhood and understanding between us कि दीदी का आजकल ये चल रहा है, दीदी दीदी ने ऐसे रिएक्ट करना है, दीदी ने वो करना है. और यही होता है ना, हम फ्रीलांस कर रहे हैं यार, नहीं मतलब इतना स्ट्रक्चर नहीं होता. So that I've just seen that women have immense capacity for being there emotionally, for
Yeah.
seeing and
Yeah.
for nurturing, for forgiving, for fighting for like other people as well. I've
Sure.
seen, like, I think women are fighters. We fight on so many fronts every day. हर चीज के लिए हम एक तरह से we put up a fight. I don't mean fight as in quarrel. I mean we put up a fight.
Hustle.
Just to exist. We hustle all the time.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. I've really genuinely noticed that, like, women make amazing like
So
colleagues.
that's like your immediate team. But what about, like, this is the team of agents and managers that you work with, right? Which is led by women, or which is primarily women and then led by men and all of that stuff. But what about people beyond just the people, the team, right? There are other people that you colleagues, industry colleagues and all. There is also a lot of sisterhood around, right? On different projects that you've met, girls from the trip, you met Shweta there, and a lot of people that I keep hearing, all these wonderful women that you've kind of made friends with, and they inspire you, because I hear so many stories from you, so many all the time about, oh my God, Anshu, this is so amazing. This one's like so good at her work, or etc. etc. What about that? What it does to you? What does it, like, how is it your support system?
I don't know where it comes from, but it's like the minute you have shared experiences and you, especially on set, no, when you're acting, like with Shweta and all, they've seen me like howl on set. They've seen me like do everything. So now it's like my sister,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they've seen your good and they've seen your
so
bad,
do you-
and you're at ease with them.
So even so, within the business, you have women who you go to for advice, like who are not your team and managers.
Well, you.
Sure.
So there's you.
No.
There is my lawyer Priyanka, who was also on one of your episodes. There is literally,
Sure.
I'm talking advice. I'm talking work
Yeah.
advice
Yeah.
outside of my management.
Yeah.
There's you. There's Priyanka. There's Shweta. I'm just specifically recounting women. There's Pallavi. She's my
Sure.
closest friend. She's been in AD for years, and she's a freelancer now. I go to her because she has so much perspective on the industry, and also we connect on like different levels. We're both Delhi
Sure.
girls, and equally sensitive people. And I'm thinking who else, but I have to say in the same breath that it's not that I believe that only women like do good work and men
Yeah.
don't, or that
Yeah.
women can do no wrong. I mean, you're aware of how women in certain networks have behaved with me, and how this stuff tends to happen. It's
Become
half the time
difficult. Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
undercutting happens through. I think anybody in a position of unbridled power has the capacity to be an asshole. I don't think that is gender specific.
Yeah.
Let's just
yeah.
say that.
But so since this is sisterhood, like you found your family of your fleet of friends, or sisters, or whatever you want to call them. But at the same time,
Sorry. This would be incomplete if I did not talk about Mitali, Delcy. They do my hair and my makeup, and I
Sure.
cannot explain to you how they are on set. They are like, they're more than sisters, and it goes like, now there are certain things only women will get. Like Delcy knows that. She's like, it's that time of the month. So she will get me sukhdi from home. She'll get me thepla
So
from
sweet.
home. She'll massage my head. Like stuff that is not part of her job.
Yeah.
Or Mitali. Like, to be there for a person emotionally also, na.
Yeah.
I think that is something women do really, really well. And I have just
Empathy.
found so many empathy, man. Like, and on
Yeah.
set, I can't function without like my girls, you know? I
Yeah.
just can't.
Yeah.
And I think that's so yeah, you're right. There's a lot of sisterhood. Like, even if in every level, like from the people who make you look a certain way, for the people who make you earn a certain way, from the people who just entertain you, every single level, like women
Yeah.
are nurturing, yeah, it's a fact. So yeah, I think I'm someone who tends to attract more women around me somehow
It's
in
fine.
my
Yeah.
inner circle.
Yeah.
But every time professionally, like it's not that I haven't had
Yeah.
men rooting for me. I think they played a very important
Important
role,
role.
and I truly believe it's not us versus them. We
Yeah.
just have to do certain things together to make the
Yeah.
best of
Yeah.
our time on earth.
Tell me something. So, if I have to sum this entire thing, what has been your biggest learning as a girl who, found her success at the very beginning, and then have traveled that journey, a very, very sketchy and a very, very rocky journey in the last 6 7 years, I would say. What are your two or three biggest set of learnings for any of these young creators who are coming in, trying to make it big on Instagram or YouTube or any of these, and find feet in the industry, which in an industry which is completely unknown, right? What is your biggest set of learning?
I think it's very important to be in it for the right reasons. I think the appetite for fame and attention, it's very limited. These things have a shelf life. It's important to really love what you do, and only do it if you either love creating or you are a workhorse and you can just work hard at any task you get, because it's a game of longevity. Because even if you get sudden success, you have to sustain it, and if you get prolonged failure, you have to power through and wait for your time. It works both ways. We have
Yeah.
examples of both. We have little sparks, and we also have slow burning fires that just explode one day and there's no looking back. And especially if you see so many YouTubers around you, that's what it is. it's
Sure.
it's perseverance and consistency. So I would say that I would tell myself this, that don't expect to be successful in everything you do.
Yeah.
Try not to take, like, I would literally tell them that create more than you consume. It's very addictive to spend time online and keep seeing what other people are doing in the
Yeah.
name of keeping up with the scene and keeping updated. But really, what is better is to stay away from your phone and gather more life experience, because that's what will propel you to create. Especially in the current scenario, you can keep looking at trends and creating reels and God knows what, but ultimately, there will be a time when you cross 30 and you will judge this and you will have an appetite for something deeper and greater, I feel. So that, and the third is that always form an opinion of yourself and keep that a good opinion, a healthy opinion. Keep that before you keep other people's. It's very easy to to let your self worth be dictated by what your followers are saying about you, you know? And people around you will also make you feel like that. Even your biggest well wishers might, you know? But it's important to just ignore, because you look strangers and they can, it's literally like they can put you up in a pedestal one day and they can take you down also. But
Yeah.
if you let them, it's very addictive, right? That, oh, I put a picture, I didn't get comments. Oh, I put a picture, I got comments. Like, imagine, my nutritionist was telling me this, that she's like, because I was talking to her about something, I was like, my face feels very swollen, and I don't mean that my cheeks are big or anything, it was like feeling swollen. And she's like, this is a classic case of moon face because of excess cortisol. And she's like, in the early days, if like the early man stepped out of his house to hunt, he was confronted by a lion, and then there was that moment of fight or flight where cortisol was released, and this happened once a week, and this was good for man. Now, with the work that you do and the profession you're in, you are constantly on fight or flight. You are constantly like releasing cortisol. You're constantly stressed, monitoring, thinking that, your self worth dwindles every hour. And how ridiculous is that? So I think I would tell
Yeah.
creators to set boundaries with their audience and with their phones. Yeah.
That is quite lovely. That was quite a long and very, very, very interesting chat with you, Malika. Thank you. I think, I have a lot of takeaways, a lot of stuff, of course, some of it which we've spoken personally, between the two of us. But I think I really wanted to try and bring out some conversations which probably you've not spoken before, about how you work and how is this entire structure of your work and the people that you work with, and what goes in your mind, the falls basically, right? And it's quite interesting, and I hope some of the women and men who are listening understand the journey that you've had, like as a creator, as an artist, and you continue to struggle, you continue to find your own, fight with your own demons, etc. So I wish you all the best for that, and I
Thank you.
hope your heart gets whichever is your next big dream to kind of take over.
Anshu, just say it. You want me to find a husband. Just say it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for watching this. If you've enjoyed this conversation, make sure you hit the like button, comment what was your favorite part, and also subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to press the bell notification to never miss a new episode, because we have a lot more coming. This podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, Google, JioSaavn by the name Questions I Wanted to Ask. You can listen to it wherever you like. Link will be in the description. You can follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And all the links are in the description. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.